The usual question is regarding beginning and, of course, ending. Scientists, religious, every denomination, every kind of person wonders, every quality of mind wonders when did the beginning, when did we begin, when did life begin? And of course that's preceded by, will life end? When will it end? You see. But if you look at it very simply, the scientist, let's call them a scientist, or geologist, a historian, those that go back into the time element of, here's the beginning, we're here. Where did it begin? How did it begin? Was there a beginning? So that one is looking for an ending to establishing the beginning, the ending of the conclusion, the ending of, I don't have to look for a beginning anymore because I know when it began. So I have ended that desire, that need. So therefore now I can say ending must exist because it's proven. 100% beginning. This one manages to go back prior to consciousness, prior to life, prior to God, prior to light and darkness, prior to all opposing values, prior to existence, and has established even the date and time, a human constructed way of realizing or inventing some sort of beginning and end. When the sun is at a particular point in the morning, it's the start of the day. When it goes to another point at the where it's nowhere to be seen, it's the end of the day. Is it the end of the sun, you see? Is it the end of movement? And of course, as human beings, we know time is just a man-made element. Beginning and end has not been or never will be understood, experienced. And for most that's okay. But there are many who suffer the thought of an ending, who suffer the thought of not discovering where I began, who I am. And we continue to tease. We continue to tease each other. We continue to tease ourselves, the mind. The mind teases. Have you looked for a beginning recently? Did you see that movie? How it ended, you see? The characters who were real people, they didn't end. It was made up. It was just an invention. The director said at the end, see? Cut, finished. Movie is complete, conclusion, end. Not an end to me, the actors, the props. The film can go on. Let's chop it. Because that's what we do. At the funeral, the priest or the minister says, let's look at the chapter of Graham's life. Okay? Graham is now ended. And then he goes on to say, let's pray that God, consciousness, Krishna, Jesus, Spirit, cares for this soul of Graham. You see? So, one moment ended. Graham, the person, is ended. Graham, the soul, is somewhere else, is continuing. So we have complete contradiction. You see? So it is very clear that there is certain things that end. Not the body. Body's recycled. Flames. Earth. Worms. The name. The identities for Graham ends. But for the ones that are at the funeral, Graham, the name. We're still speaking the name. We still have the memory. The memories can never end. The images on the photographs, that's what he used to be like. But he's not like that anymore. There's no suggestion of beginning and ending. You see? Something inside human beings need a conclusion. They need to know the conclusion. If they find a conclusion, they'll understand that they began. If they find the beginning, they'll understand that they'll end. But it's the mind that creates chapters, creates stories, creates breaks, creates definite changes. And if you go through life knowing this, there should be no suffering. Suffering comes when the thought that you end. The thought will end. The thought about Graham will end for me. I am Graham. At some point I will not know myself as Graham. But will I know, or will I experience absolute whatever end is? Because we assume that end is absolute nothing, absolute darkness, absolute end. How can we discover end? If we discover end, something is alive to discover it. Something is going on to discover it. When I die, there is the end. Oh, wait a minute. It cannot be the end because I still exist. The mind still exists. It's a subject that we just, fortunately, just ignore. We watch television and it's a program regarding the scientist has found where the planets evolved from the Big Bang. Was the Big Bang the beginning, you see? If we find beginning, life will become a trudge, a dread, because we'll always be waiting for the end. When will the end come? Oh, I won't be here anymore. The thoughts won't be here anymore anyway. We have a common theme in life. It's called, we have named it death. My own feelings, this is just I'm just having a vacation. I'm leaving this body is not required anymore. I'm off on a vacation. And that demoralizes religion, demoralizes, the meaning of life. How can you just take life so frivolously? How can you just, you have to work tirelessly in the middle point. before you began and before you ended? Can you remember your beginning? Can you remember the birth? Can you remember your first breath? Can you remember being in the womb? You see? The mind will then play games and say, yeah, well, if I go into regression, if I go into some clairvoyant, if I go into some sort of deep trance, I'll experience a past life. When did the past life cease? And when did the new life begin? Was there a period of end? How can there be a period of end? Because it's an ongoing. You see? That's why when you say, I haven't had enough of this life. No, what you're saying is I have enough of the experience of the thoughts that create a possible, I can move out of this life, you see. Whether it's a, what you would call a bad move, and you do something stupid, or whether it's a thought that does something better in another life. It's pretty blasphemous to say I'm just a chapter. This is my story. My story was a beginning. I was born on this date and I died on this date. What dies is I, you see. That's all that dies. But it's not, nothing died, no physical or no sociological, psychological, mental thing that dies, because something knows I is a thought. I made myself believe. I made myself hope. I made myself available for information, knowledge, programming, conditioning, religion, science, schooling, relationships. I came here. So where did you come from, you see? Is I born? Is I? Well, when your whole family pass away, if you're a youngster, will the symbol I pass away with them? Will their names pass away? You see, their names will be remembered. I cannot pass away. I is the symbolic way of ego to maintain its grip on the story, on the make-believe. Everything is the same when I dies, you see. And our mind then goes, okay, that means when I'm out of my body, I dies. You see, me. No. I does not exist. All of this exists. But the idea that I is what existence is, or what gives existence life. I does not give existence life. I was born from existence, you see. Primarily, everything is existence. Existence has no beginning and end. Within this I, out with this I, is the same. Always, in all ways. No before life, no after life. Just everything. Stable, unmoving, with an experience of a moving body. And the moving body moves away. Does movement move away? You see? Is there something that says no more movement? No one knows, you see. We spend our whole life seeking, wasting, thinking, when will my next chapter begin? What's wrong with this chapterless chapter of I?